Hello everyone, welcome back to OCD Recovery's YouTube channel. I wanted to make a video that I have not made in a long time. And when I have made these videos, I've had my wife with me, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I wanted to make my own friends and family video because, listen, there's not really a lot of information out there on breaking down beliefs and then fear. And there's certainly not a lot of information out there for friends and family. Now, as I always tell people, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, son, daughter, whoever it is, they are the ones that have to walk the journey. But I'm going to make this video specifically targeted for friends and family of people who might want to learn more about OCD, tips that I have coming from someone who was an ex-sufferer, someone who was in a mental hospital, someone who didn't want to get out of bed, someone who wasn't going to work, someone who gained 40 or 50 pounds. We like to joke about that because I'm only 5'6". So 40 to 50 pounds on my frame is a lot. I was smoking. I was doing a bunch of things. And in my opinion, what my wife did that really was beneficial for me, although again, as I have to say, the importance of this cannot be overstated. They are the ones that have to put the work in, not you, but you can help in certain scenarios to maybe show some tough love when there's compassion needed, when there's empathy needed, and there's no clear-cut rule. So as always, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button. This is a really important video because the friends and family space does not have a lot of information out there, and I want to talk about what I think my wife did that was really beneficial for me. I just came from a coffee shop, and then I just made another coffee, so this is going to be a great video. I love coffee. I do drink black coffee only, but there's this coffee shop I just came from that has this blueberry chocolate cold brew. Oh my gosh, it is so good. Has fresh squeezed blueberries in it. I'm hooked. I've only been there like 30 times in the last 3 months. Not good. Anyway, so business right off. So when it comes to the journey of OCD and anxiety recovery, as I always say, the one thing that cannot be overstated is the person suffering, whether it's your brother, sister, mom, dad, son, daughter, best friend's brother, cousin's brother, that's your cousin. Anyway, I'm an idiot. So it's important to realize that they are the ones that need to go through the journey themselves. You can set up situations to make it a little bit easier for them to partake in their homework assignments, such as their disputing, such as their exposures. But again, ultimately, it's not up to you to get them better, but you can help. That's number one. Number two, tough love. Now, tough love is a hot topic. The reason why tough love is a hot topic is because many people think that there's no room for tough love, and I very much disagree with that. Do I think that a lot of people respond well to tough love off the bat like I do because of my background and how I was raised? No, I do not. Do I think that tough love needs to be used all the time? I do not. Do I think that tough love needs to be used with all chronic OCD sufferers at some point? 100% yes. Let me tell you why. As I'm sure you've noticed, if you're living with someone who has chronic OCD, OCD is no joke. It's a very hard disorder to get better from. It's not impossible, but I have to say it's hard because it's not easy and it's not moderate. If it was, I wouldn't need to make these videos. I wouldn't have to make content on sensory motor and all the stuff I've recovered from and ROCD, false memory real event, and all these other fears. I wouldn't have to do webinars. It is important to realize that it is a tough fucking disorder, but with the right structure, people can really turn their lives around, even if they never fully recover. Obviously, it's a benefit to recover. You want them to recover, but it is important to tell you that they might not ever recover, full recovery, right? Because what we do as a sufferer is we focus on full recovery. We don't need to focus on full recovery. We just want to focus on day-by-day progress. So, lifestyle structures. If you are dating, okay, let's say it's your husband, your married husband, wife, it's your boyfriend, your girlfriend relationship, you're living together, and you're noticing that they're sleeping in all day long. The answer is no. Now, I don't want you to scream at them, but there's going to be a point in time where you're going to have to put your foot down. This is a learning lesson for you as well. This isn't just a sufferer. You can benefit from your own self. You could read the books. You can learn about the practicality about OCD. You don't have to learn about neuroplasticity and neuroanatomy and neurophysiology, hormones. None of that stuff needs to be learned. Cool. I love it. But you don't got to learn that. Learning the practicality, learning why they might be up and down. You know, it's frustrating, I can imagine, as a friend, family member, loved one, whatever it is, seeing them go from one minute they seem okay to the next minute they seem really not okay. So applying that tough love. Hey, have you done your homework? You know, kind of almost like it's your child. Have you done your homework? Why are you still in bed? Get out of bed. My wife is not naturally a confrontational person. Now, it's important, side note, the biggest irrational belief around confrontation is that confrontation means anger. It doesn't. Confrontation also doesn't need to mean aggressiveness. It just means, hey, I see the things you're doing. I don't think they're working. Get out of bed. We're living in a society where confrontation is always a bad thing. It's not. Confrontation is one of the most important skills to get good at parenting, business, discussion, anything. Confrontation doesn't need to be aggressive and it doesn't need to be anger, but it needs to be in a place to where the person at least has an idea that what they're doing might not be working. So we're using that tough love, the homework, the exposures, staying on top of them, but also always remembering back every point I'm going to talk about, always going back to point one, that they are the ones that has to put the work in. That leads me to point number 3. They might not ever recover. They might not. Most people don't recover. Not because they don't know how or because we don't have the tools. The reason why people don't recover is because it takes a lot of work, a shitload of work, a lot more work than I wanted to do. So it takes a lot of work. It's good for you to understand that because it's not an overnight fix. I was talking to someone in person. I'll show him this video. He's a friend of mine. His wife developed severe OCD. And I remember we were talking on Saturday of this week. It's Tuesday. And he was saying, you know, I thought that her getting an understanding, by the way, if you're watching this, buddy, my wife was the same way. We all thought that. I thought that as a sufferer. Okay, you know, I'm gonna get my wife back. I remember he said to me, I'm gonna get my wife back. And it's not my place to ruin the party. But it is good for the video to realize that that's not how it works. It takes a long time for that person to get back to who they are. It also is important to realize that they might not ever get back. Also, you don't, and I want to go back for a second. You don't want them going back to who they were. Because who they were got them here. It got them stuck. I know it's hard to hear, but it's the truth. It got them stuck. Those irrational beliefs, whether it's HOCD, harm OCD, real event, false memory. So realizing that you do not have any direct control, you can influence things with tough love and routines, but eventually it comes down to them. This leads me to the 4th thing. This is probably the most important point for you, okay? Very important. You have to take care of yourself. Living with an OCD person who suffer chronically is not easy. I was very, very harsh. I got angry a lot. I cursed a lot. I was difficult. I was really difficult. I had a lot of irrational beliefs. I didn't want to listen to anyone. So taking care of yourself, what do I mean by that? I don't care if it's yoga, reading, the gym, talking to your friends and family, getting, going to therapy yourself, getting a coach yourself, educating yourself. Taking care of yourself is so key. If you put your entire effort in, what's the famous quote? You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. If you're constantly dragging them to the water every day, the fighting and the arguing, and you're not getting better yourself, they're not getting better, there's only so much you can do. This is why the books on the reading list are so applicable for you. Because you can also learn unconditional other acceptance. You can learn to accept the loved one, even if they're suffering with OCD. Not saying you have to. It is a benefit. And all these other things. So remember, let's go back and cover what we've covered so far. They have to put the work in, okay? Tough love is absolutely essential. Building lifestyle factors and taking care of yourself and highlighting that they might not ever get better. That doesn't mean they can't get better. But not every OCD sufferer recovers, not now, because the work required is difficult. It's a lot more difficult than we usually want to do. I'm not saying that in order to frighten you. I'm giving you the reality of how it is. Many people will not give you the reality about OCD. They'll make it seem easy. They'll make it seem OCD is no joke. No fucking joke. Okay? Mental hospital, suicide attempts, police called multiple times, gained a bunch of weight, drinking, smoking, video games, not living, no work. When I did go to work, leaving work early, it's no joke. I'm not going to sit here and tell you and baby you and tell you it's no joke. This leads me into point number 5, where I'm going to change my tone. Compassion and empathy. Look, compassion and empathy did not come easy to me. Probably because I was raised in an area of the country, New Jersey, New York area, where there's a lot of like, just boom, 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 you know, you go get it. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, just a lot of irrational beliefs in its own sense. That I think that I really lost touch of how important empathy and compassion is. I totally understand fully what it's like to be in this scenario. I don't know from the loved one, friend perspective, but I certainly know what it's like to be in it from the sufferer's perspective. So compassion and empathy is key for yourself and for them. Resenting them and being angry at them, which you will at some point, more than likely, but that's not going to do you any good in the long run. It's not going to do you any good. Why would you do that to yourself? Remember, resentment, severe resentment and anger, although it's very understandable since OCD sufferers can be so stubborn, we are really suffering. But remember, activating event is your loved one having or friend having OCD. Your belief system is, why can't they get better? Why are they not putting the work in? C equals, you see them not putting the work in, so you get angry and resentful. You can accept them even without them putting any work in. My wife talks about this all the time when she does videos for the channel and her blog and everything like that. So it's really important to realize that. So remember, that compassion and empathy it's not always for them. It's for you. It is important for them. It is important for them, but it's also important for you, because when you get angry and when you get resentful and rageful and all the other stuff, that just makes your life that much harder. Doesn't make it terrible, doesn't make it awful, but it makes it that much more difficult because you haven't applied those principles. I promise you, you can do it. So, and that leads into point number 6, which kind of ties in all of it together, is educating yourself. Like I said in the beginning, read the books. You don't have to. Great benefit. Remember, the books on the reading list were not made for us. They were made for people who didn't, obviously they talk about OCD, PTSD, psychosis, all these other things, neurosis, but they're also for people who don't have disorders. The majority of the examples in the book were for people more than likely who did not have disorders. So educating yourself is key. Going into the final point, patience. Man, patience is interesting because I sucked at patience, and I still do to a degree because I'm human, I'm fallible. It's really easy to lose sight of the person that you're with because the disorder can be so all-encompassing. But I want you to realize that patience and persistence is not just for them, it's also for you. Applying patience to the other person, applying it to yourself will go a long way. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, targeted towards friends and family members. If you're a sufferer watching this, please show your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your neighbor, whoever it is you're close with. This is critical. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Comment down below. Ask me questions. I always go through. I usually stay a week and go back. Videos I was posted 5 days ago. I go back and check every day for new comments. Let me know what you think, and then we can go from there and talk about it. Thank you so much for watching. There's plenty of hope. They can get better. It is important to realize, though, that they might not ever get better. It comes down to us. It comes down to things we're not in control of, our genetics, how we respond, how much work we put in, and all these other things. Can we handle discomfort? Can we handle changing themes and everything like that? But none of that is in your control. All you can do is suggest lifestyle factors, show tough love when necessary, and that balance is going to come to you. Is there more tough love needed right now? More compassion and empathy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, have a great day.